Alright folks, welcome back to Politically Animated. Let's cut the crap. America is under invasion. And no, I'm not talking about alien spaceships, see, though honestly that might be easier to deal with than what they got right now. I'm talking about the Mexican cartels. The same cartels raking in over $13 billion from human trafficking, pumping poison across our borders, and turning 1,200 American cities into cartel outposts. Yeah, you heard me right. That's not Fox News, that's not CNN, EAC, hell, they won't even talk about it. That's the truth. While the media is busy crying over pronouns and celebrity gossip, here's the reality. 107,000 Americans dead last year from fentanyl overdoses. That's a Vietnam War body count every single year. Human trafficking is now $1 billion business. Kids are being sold like Uber rides. And cartels. They're not just in border towns, they're sitting comfortably in Chicago, Atlanta, New York, hell, probably your own backyard. And you wouldn't even know it because the press is too scared or too bought off to tell you.
In an escalation of the effort to combat illegal drug smuggling by the cartels, President Trump has ordered 3 Navy destroyers to be deployed to South American waters just off of Venezuela. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro responding now by calling for a nationwide military enlistment and vowing to deploy millions of his own troops. The move coming months after the State Department designated several cartels as foreign terrorist organizations. Designation also given to other transnational criminal groups like MS-13 and Venezuela's own Tren de Aragua. News Nation correspondent Jorge Ventura joining us live with more tonight. And Jorge, it appears the U.S. and Venezuela are moving closer to a direct confrontation.
Natasha, that's right. We are seeing these escalating tensions between the U.S. and Venezuela. This is coming after the White House did deploy over 4,000 sailors and Marines to the waters of Latin America to potentially strike drug cartels. That's also going to be including 3 Navy destroyers. Now, we have not confirmed when those Navy destroyers will arrive, but we are expecting soon. And this is all coming as the United States continues to target Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. Venezuelan President Maduro also responding and says he will deploy up to 5 million militia members in Venezuela, and he called the deployment a threat to Venezuela's sovereignty, saying, quote, "The empire has gone mad." Washington accuses Maduro of being one of the largest narco traffickers in the world, and it's allegedly the head of Venezuela's Cartel de los Solos, a network blamed for smuggling cocaine and fentanyl-laced drugs into United States cities. The Justice Department recently also doubled its reward for the capture of Maduro to $50 million. That's the highest ever by the DEA, and officials say these cartels are using international airspace and waters to move deadly drugs into the United States.
The Cartel de los Solos, which is a criminal organization that happens to masquerade as a government. The Maduro regime is not a government. It's not a legitimate government. We've never recognized them as such. They are a criminal enterprise that basically has taken control of national territory of a country, and who, by the way, are also threatening U.S. oil companies that are operating lawfully in Guyana. So the president's been very firm. Anything that's a threat to the national security of the United States, he's going to confront.
Now, investigators also claim that Maduro has provided support to Mexico's Sinaloa cartel, but Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum insists there is no evidence that links the Venezuelan president to the drug cartel. This also comes as Mexico continues to double down and say that they will not allow any U.S. military intervention into Mexico. And Natasha, this is also coming as the DEA and the DOD recently held an intelligence sharing event with Mexican officials. So there's more speculation if we could potentially see a U.S. military operation in Mexico now that we are now seeing 4,000 Marines deployed to the waters of Latin America, Natasha.
It is interesting. Jorge Ventura with that live report in San Antonio, Texas tonight. Thank you. A brand new.
But here's the thing. Trump isn't sipping lattes and writing sad poetry about this. No, Trump just dropped the hammer. Military strikes on cartels. Let me repeat that for the people in the cheap seats. The President of the United States authorized strikes on the Mexican cartels. We're talking drones, precision hits, special ops. ACOC, this is no longer just a border skirmish. This is war. And Trump's sending a message: you push fentanyl into America, you traffic kids across our border, you die. Period. It's... But oh, the media silent. You'd think bombs dropping on cartel strongholds would make the front page. Nope, instead they're running stories about some Hollywood actor's third divorce. or what color suit Kamala Harris wore at brunch. Like, excuse me, did you miss the part where we're basically in narco WW on our own soil?
A government that produced over 25% of the entire cocaine that is produced in the entire world. It's also a regime that sent Tren de Aragua, the same criminal organization that killed, for example, Lakin Riley, or that killed Jocelyn Nungaray. So there is a need for the American people, for the well-being of the American people in the Western Hemisphere, to have a regime change, to stop these cartels. Yeah. But Venezuelans recognize that Trump is an ally, that the U.S. government is probably the biggest hope that we currently have.
Jorge, let's talk a little bit about who else is involved with Nicolas Maduro. It's not just the drug cartels, which is serious, and I appreciate Franklin laying that part out. But it's the Chinese, it's the Iranians. Let's talk about the Chinese, because they made a huge play and got away with a lot of stuff while America was looking in the other direction, towards the Middle East, towards Ukraine. And the Chinese were making their move in our hemisphere, in our backyard. Explain.
Yeah, definitely China is all involved in Venezuela. I remember when I was there, I once went to a military outpost and I was embarrassed because I saw the Chinese flag waving in this military place where, you know, in a military place in Venezuela, you should only see Venezuelan flags, and that's sure. about it. I saw a Chinese flag, I saw a Cuban flag, an Iranian flag. That doesn't really make sense. So all of these countries are openly operating in Venezuela to harm American interests in the region. And it's such a good news that President Trump is finally taking notice and acting accordingly to stop this.
Well, we're looking at something very historic about to happen. All eyes on Latin America. If Donald Trump succeeds if President Trump succeeds in cleaning up the Western Hemisphere from Maduro and his very nefarious influences with cartels, the Chinese and the Iranians, I think it may be his greatest foreign policy success, really ever. It really impacts us. It's our backyard. So, Franklin, Jorge, thanks for joining us, and we'll be checking back with you as this entire story is just beginning. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Listen, this isn't just about politics, it's about survival. Our kids, our neighborhoods, our future. And the sad part is, you'd never know any of this if you were relying on CNN, MSNBC, or any of the corporate media hacks. But here you're going to hear it raw, unfiltered, and straight to the point. Because this isn't just news, this is reality. Trump has declared war on the cartels, and for once, America is actually fighting back. So buckle up, folks. This isn't the last battle. It's the first shot in the cartels. They just found out the hard way America isn't for sale, and our kids are not your business. Welcome to the cartel invasion. The media won't, Frank, tell you about, and trust me, we're just getting started. So, subscribe, like, and share this video. Also, comment below. Peace out, family.